Okay, Marcos, what do you have to say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or do you want to talk about something else?
No, I was looking for something else.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Thanks for calling the 1-900 number. My name is Harry. How are
Would you shut up and be quiet?
Shut up!
You're calling a sports talk show. You know that, right? So what do you want to talk about, Marcos?
I was looking to call out Peter.
This is Peter.
Marcos Jake Paul's assistant.
Oh, are you serious?
Told you.
Wait, is this live right now?
This is live right now. This is crazy.
Way.
This is crazy.
This is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Told you.
Wow. Okay,
Sorry.
so let's welcome to the evolution. I swear to God, we did not plan this, but of course the story was about the Rolex situation. Jake Paul, I interviewed him, asked him a question about Rolexes being given to fighters. And he said, you know what, do you want one? And I said, yeah, sure. Not thinking he was going to do that. So
that's crazy. I just got your contact from Nikisa, Jake's manager.
Okay.
I wanted to follow up. So we have Rolex ready to go. And I was calling you to contact you what the best shipping address was. So whenever you get the chance.
I'll tell you what, Peter, why don't you go ahead and take that, make me full screen, pull yourself out. I'll go ahead and talk to the audience. It'll take you less than a minute. And I think that's awesome.
I think it is awesome too. Thank you very much for calling. Let me go ahead and get to you. Harry, let me go full screen here. Stand by.
It's a team sport. So, we didn't play great on offense. We didn't help them very much either. So we didn't do great in the first half. Too many missed opportunities on third down, turnovers. So tough game, tough team. They're a good team, but, we got to play a lot better if we want to be good teams. So it hasn't been our best yet. This year, be good to see what it looks like when we do play our best. It's a team sport. So, we didn't play great on offense. We didn't help them very much either. So we didn't do great in the first half. Too many missed opportunities on third down, turnovers. So tough game, tough team. They're a good team, but, we got to play a lot better if we want to be good teams. So it hasn't been our best yet. This year, be good to see what it looks like when we do play our best.
You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose to the Carolina Panthers. How does that happen? Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Speechless. What can you say? Start off the first drive, right? You run the ball on first down. Get nothing. Like always, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. I don't know what offense is worse. And we've seen some pretty bad offenses in Bucs history. I watched lots of Bucs games in my time. With all the talent this team has, with all that they have. And this is what you get. This is what you get. Unbelievable. But the first drive, you have a wide open Mike Evans, and it is a microcosm of what the season has been. And don't make the excuse that Evans only was targeted 4 times last week, so he's just warming up. You should have a touchdown at that point. You should be up 7-0. But what do we hear all week? What do we hear in that press conference? You can play the same press conference. Besides the turnovers, we're not executing. We're not scoring points in the red zone. The Carolina Panthers, the team that just traded Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, you still gave up over 150 yards of rushing? Are you joking? Are you kidding? Save the calls. I set the table, you come to eat. Is this a quarterback problem? Maybe. Is this a coaching problem? Definitely. Have we seen enough? You know, I come on this show all the time and defend Byron Leftwich and Tom Bowles, saying they're going to get this stuff together. They're going to get it together. They haven't been able to get it together. It's not even close. That team has no business beating the Bucs. A double-digit underdog. Are you joking? And it's the same suspects all the time. Are we done? Are we done with Luke Gedeke at left guard? Are we done? It seemed like the Bucs were done today. They went with Nick Leverett. He played well. No pressure. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do, Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles? What do we do? Put him back in. Put him back in. How about the play calling? Are we done with the running on first down? I get it. Mike Evans drops a touchdown because you finally go past play action. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Should have had a touchdown and drops it. But on third down, you get stuffed in the red zone again. What do you do on fourth down? 4th and 1. What do you do? You did it last week. Guess what? If fans out there know what you're going to do, don't you think that defensive coordinators know what you're going to do? You ran the same play that you were successful on 4th and 1 and got it. This time you didn't. Hats off to the Carolina Panthers. By the way, you see that little shadow in the back? That's a prop. Because this team is a shadow of what the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers were. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Now you can call up. Did you think I was going to come on this show and be happy? 2 straight weeks I've come on these shows and said it was going to be a blowout. You should have blown out the Steelers and you should have blown out the Panthers. Phone line, what's your name? Where you calling from? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Hey, this is Dave Warner. Sorry, I've been remember I've been in the hospital and all that kind of stuff, but hey, I'm out. Unfortunately, my dad died a couple of days ago, but I'm all right.
Sorry to hear that, Dave. Sorry to hear that.
I'm out here at Clearwater Beach just chilling, but I watched the game over at Hogan's Beach Bar, and they just sucked it up big time.
Disappointing. I don't know what you say. You want to go to the statistics for Tom Brady? You want to go to the statistics? You scored 3 freaking points.
How about the freaking defense? I mean,
horrible.
What are the statistics on that? I mean, they let them run all over them.
Well, look, the majority of the game, the defense was on the field because your offense couldn't do anything. In fact, it was the Jake Carmada show.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is not good because he's a punter.
Yep. I mean, I couldn't believe that we freaking were getting all these good passes to like Godwin and them, and then all of a sudden we sputter and freaking have to kick it off, or we went for it on fourth down and couldn't even get freaking a yard. It's crazy.
Absolutely awful. What else, Dave?
I don't know. I got season tickets for the rest of the year, so they better do something on Thursday night. That's for darn sure.
I'm telling you right now, I don't have any confidence, because if you can't beat the Steelers and the Panthers, I feel like you got no chance to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Not this team. Not the offensive creativity or lack thereof.
Somebody needs to be kicked in the ass because freaking Tom Brady needs to freaking suck it up. Who cares? He's getting fucking divorced. He's got freaking $500 million. I mean, I wish I could freaking get divorced and still be okay. His wife makes more than him.
I don't think this is all on the quarterback at the end of the day, but this is a whole team-wide problem. No heart, and then they finally decide to quicken the pace. And Dave, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate it. No sound effects today. No sound effects. Nothing about this game was good. Nothing you could take out of it is good. And the Bucs fans have watched some pretty lackadaisical offensive shows. I will take a Tony Dungy offense over this right now. James Ludeman, welcome to the Evolution. Go.
First of all, your stars have to be stars. None of them showed up today.
None.
That's the problem.
None.
Leonard Fournette.
Besides Mike Evans, but Mike Evans should have had more yards in this game. You've got to catch a wide open pass to start the game. The Bucs are the only team in the NFL right now that has not scored a first quarter touchdown.
First time in Tom Brady's career he's been shut out in 2 quarters to start a season. First time. This man's been playing 20 plus years. Never had this problem. He's had worse offenses who have not had this problem. And I'm going to tell you this, Peter, right now. There are guys on this team that are getting paid a lot of money, and they lay an egg the way that they did today. It's unacceptable. If I'm the coaching staff, I am appalled. And I'm going to tell you this. Todd Bowles was just on his post-game comments. No passion. No heart.
None.
No fire.
None.
None.
You guys miss BA yet? All you fans out there that wanted to run BA out of town, do you miss him yet? Do you understand how much of a big component he was to this coaching staff? Are you done playing around now? Because somebody needs to come into this locker room and kick somebody in the ass. Because you can't lose to the Steelers and the Panthers 2 weeks in a row.
Well, and here's the deal. You look at the rest of this schedule and everybody's like, well, there's still – a good chance and things like that. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'll be surprised if the Bucs finish 10-7 or 9-8. And this division is so bad that maybe they'll win the division still, even still. Atlanta dropped their game today to the Bengals. But I'm going to tell you this right now. They need to figure this out, and they have until Thursday to do it. And if they think that they're just going to waltz in and play the Ravens and play the way they did today, they're going to be embarrassed again on national TV.
Yep, pretty much. Good stuff, James. Appreciate the call, my friend. All right?
Yeah, brother.
All right, good stuff. Let me go ahead and go out to the comments here. As I don't know who just came into my door. I don't know why people are coming into my door while I'm doing a live show. Let me go out to Ed here. We'll get to the comments in a moment. Ed, go ahead. Share your frustration as the Bucs fall to 3-4. They lose to the Carolina Panthers 21-3. Go.
Yeah, they suck. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I think it's I called it all season when I heard there was going to be a coaching change that they would not do well this season, and I guess my prophecy is coming true. I hope that maybe Tom Brady would be enough, but it's not enough. He's only one guy.
Well, he's only one guy, but at the end of the day, you have to execute. Again, it goes back to the simplistic approach of when you got a big play down the field. And we know how dependable and consistent Mike Evans is. You've got to catch the football for a touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen in the back, please shut up. I'm doing a live show. Go.
The thing about it is that you got to, you're right, you got to execute. But you know what, dude? They're just playing uninspired football. They don't act like they even want to be there half the time. You see them walk back to the huddle. They're all nonchalant. Nobody's fired up, man. I'm telling you, this is coaching. You can't take a team like this and run it into the ground. You can't make this up. It's got too much talent.
Yeah, I agree. Ed. Absolutely. All right, what else?
That's basically about it. I don't have any more hope of them winning, especially against the Ravens. There's no way that's going to happen.
All right.
I'm sorry. Is it the Ravens or is it Tennessee?
It is the Ravens on Thursday night. Okay?
All right.
All right.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Appreciate
Yep.
you,
All
as always. All right. Good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll get to these comments. We got Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire at 1252 Chicago Sports, Tampa Bay Ray. We also have a frustrated fan who will get on the video here, share his thoughts. It's your opportunity. If you want to click on the link, click on the link. If you want to call in as the Bucs lose to the Carolina Panthers. A 1-5 football team who just traded their franchise running back, have a third-string quarterback, fired their coach, and they still beat the Bucs. How is that possible? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll read these comments. Troy Polamalu, ha ha ha. I told y'all, expect the Bucs to lose. Bowles and Leftwich are trash. I'm tired of people defending them. Joey Deeb, get rid of Byron Leftwich. Tulio, it's over. See you next year, Bucs. Fred, laugh my ass off. We suck. Roger Shue, Bucs lose. I told you, I'm a football god. All my picks are right. I don't know about all your picks are right, but I will acknowledge.
Acknowledge me.
Jeff says, Bengals helped you guys by stomping Atlanta. That's the only chance at this point that the team has success is to win this division, and it is god-awful. This team is not a Super Bowl team. I don't even know if they're a playoff team with the way they're playing right now. Chris, well, not only bad football, but boring football. The Bucs appeared uninterested, just mailed it in. Can't wait for Bowles and Sandwich to get fired. Those two stooges don't know how to run an offense. Roger Shue, I agree with Troy. Troy, see you at work, Roger, meeting at 9. Elijah, don't blame Leftwich for a drop touchdown pass. I mean, you can't. It's a perfect play call, and it has to be executed by Mike Evans. Roger Shue, laugh out loud. This team sucks. Roger Shue again. Playoffs. Montrell, sad day for Bucs fans. Kyle, do you make changes at the coaching positions? Does BA become the head coach again? I don't know. I don't know if he even can at this point. Does he want this? What are you telling your organization at this juncture? D is trash. Troy Polamalu, Devin White needs to work on his skills, not running his big mouth. Hold up on the calls. We're going to go out to our guests in a moment. I'm going to read these comments. Hold off on them. Told you that there would be 8-9. Roger Shue, if they're lucky. Jennifer, not the same Bucs. No. Art, what an embarrassment. Bring Bruce back down to coach. Brady is done. Time to move on. Is Brady done? Is Brady done? Is it Brady's fault that Mike Evans can't catch an easy touchdown? Enough with blaming just one player on this team. It's a collective group effort. A collective effort. Roger Shue says, time for Epic Peter rant. You got it. Trevor Miller, the offense is terrible. Troy, the Panthers don't have a quarterback, traded their star receiver, traded their star running back, fired their head coach, and still beat the Bucs. Ben, just one word describes this, embarrassing. Trevor, the Ravens are going to cook us. James, bro, laugh out loud, don't jump ship, but goddamn, if a mutiny shouldn't be in order. Brady is trying to stay in the league because Giselle is taking half of the money. Winfield loss was huge. He went out with a concussion. No urgency. We're not a playoff team. James again. Brady is going to play another 3 years on a different team just to spite us. Roger Shue. Bucs are just a dumpster fire. Trevor. I miss him. I never wanted him gone. Misador. A good coach doesn't point out the problems. They give the solution. Carolina has traded away most of their star talent, playing with a third-string quarterback at best. Their staff has made adjustments to accommodate their team's deficiencies and put them in position to win. Bowles and Leftwich, if you smell fire, let's hope it's your seat. Michael, something much larger going on off the field. That's been the whole story of the offseason. Brady comes back out of retirement. Then there's this. Then there's that. But the play on the field has to be better than this. You have to be able to beat a 1-5 Carolina Panther team. James, third quarter, the team body language said it all. Troy, press conference, Bulls, we got to get better. No stuff! I really think the owner might have to step in. Chris, Sean Payton, anyone? Me. I think the Bucs fired Schiano. James, Gage hasn't been great. We need a kick return or two that could maybe create a spark in these games. You need some type of spark. You get down 14-0, and then you start to move. Or you get down 21-3, and then you start to move. Why? All right, let's go out to the comments here. Let's go out to our guest. We'll get back to the comments in a moment. I know how passionate you are. There's open phone lines if you want to use them. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Welcome to my new location of Holiday after a Bucs tremendous loss. Hold off on that phone call. Let's get to our guest, and then we'll take our phone call. Tampa Bay Ray, welcome to the Evolution. Harry the Greek and Patrick, stand by. We'll get you on in just a little bit. Ray, you were out there at Krabby's in Madeira Beach. Your thoughts on this disappointing loss by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, I'll just tell you what my first thought after this game, or I'm watching the last few minutes of this game ending here, I'm thinking to myself, is Todd Bowles a one and done? And I mean that because I said this last week. We said it wasn't the play calling. It's not Byron Leftwich forgot to be how to be an OC overnight. It's not that. And I said that when everybody made a big deal, and I made a big deal about Tom Brady bitching at an offensive line after he misses the team walkthrough and misses the team charter and flies in from the billionaire's wedding. And I said to myself, I wish it would have been Todd Bowles over there yelling at that offensive line to get in line. And I'm still seeing it. We're seeing it in a post-game press conference today. No passion from the top. And this is pretty much, guys, girls, basically the same story as Todd Bowles going back to the New York Jets a few years ago. Great defensive mind, great coach of men. But as far as the overall, a CEO or a COO, whatever you want to call it, not winning in my book.
Not winning in my book. We'll go out to our professional handicapper extraordinaire, Harry the Greek, 1252 Chicago Sports. Looking at this game, you thought they would have some first-half difficulty, but never this. I mean, a double-digit underdog, and the Panthers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with an interim coach. They fired their coach, third-string quarterback, and they just traded Christian McCaffrey, still beat the Bucs. Make some sense of this.
First off, gentlemen, we were just on a show, 4 or 5 hours together, correct? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
And people were kind of laughing when I said NFL stands for what? Not for long, Ray said. I remember this clearly. And I said, no friggin' logic, but I was trying to be really nice. Look, Carolina fires their head coach. They get rid of Christian McCaffrey. Starting quarterback isn't around. Either they're 1 or 2, and they're charting PJ. PJ's not a bad quarterback. They don't know the offensive game plan, and they definitely don't know the coaching staff that they're playing against with a team that they were a double digit. Double digit means 10 points. This team was a 14-point favorite in some books. Shame on the Buccaneers for doing that. However, it goes to my old adage. NFL means not for long. That's all I got to say in regards to that. You're going to have to pick up and move on. Ray, you could be right, but we're kind of throwing stones in both areas. I get it. Okay. This isn't just a Todd Bowles thing. It's not just a Tom Brady thing. I'm going to go back to what I truly think it is. It's not so much play calling, guys. You don't have the horses in front of you. How important is Rob Gronkowski to this team? How important was he to this team? Hold on, wait a minute. No Cameron Brate. He didn't have a safety blanket the entire time. Peter, you're sitting there screaming in the corner. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, let me go ahead and take this call because people are calling right now. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, Tampa Bay Ray, after the Bucs lose to the Carolina Panthers. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Welcome.
Hey, it's Dave again. Hey, Harry. Good seeing you the other day. Hey, Ray. How's it going?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, not much, man. Hey, just chilling at the beach today. Pretty much just drove here in the Challenger, and it's been parked all day. So usually I'd be driving that car all around all day. So it's getting its rest for now.
Let me finish the take that I had here because we're completely off kilter here.
Yes, go for it.
And I want to finish what I was saying. Ray, you can talk. It's very accurate when you're saying, and it's a combination of everything you're saying. It's coaching. Could he be a one and done? He was a great defensive coordinator. May not be a leader of men. It could be Tom Brady. It's all these things. But I think the one thing we're not focusing on are two things. A, they really miss Rob Gronkowski. I didn't think they were going to miss him that much, number one. Number two, that offensive line is softer than puppy shit, as Fat Mike says. It's that bad.
Harry, I got to tell you, though, for me, it goes back to the whole thing, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the national media ran with the fact that Bruce fucking Arians was on a sideline and not in the box, and Bruce Arians was going to be a special assistant to the fucking general manager or whatever it was. But now we're finding out that actually he's still in the house. So the 53 guys that are on the active roster don't know who they're taking their marching orders from. Marching orders, a little back to what Tom Brady had this week about how playing in the NFL is the same thing as being overseas. But I'm saying is that what we're seeing in this Buccaneers team is that nobody knows who's the head guy in charge. Nobody knows who's supposed to be busting their balls. So as a result, nobody's busting balls. So we're seeing a team that's continuing to underachieve against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week and against the Carolina Panthers this week.
You know what? That's a great point. You and I talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
what am I talking about? You and I talked about that even further ago. How much, even before the season started, I remember we were sitting out front and we were talking about how good is this team going to be with Bruce Arians still being with the organization. Peter, no pun offended, when you turn around and say, how do you like me now when you don't have BA? But wait a minute. You can't have BA still on this team and on the sideline. Ray is 100% correct because you've got someone doing this all the time, guys.
Yeah,
that's a head coach looking over your shoulder.
I gotta
Come on, man.
I got to tell you something wrong with Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy after the Bucs and their disappointing loss versus
you
the
still owe me that vig, Ray.
21-3. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on the sports web. Disappointment all around. And I tell you right now, we always talk about it, guys. Some coordinators out there are just better coordinators than coaches. And we looked at the record and gave Todd Bowles the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, they're underachieving. And it's not just Todd Bowles. It's Byron Leftwich. It's the players not executing. And it starts from that first drive, Tampa Bay, Ray, when you have a touchdown, wide open Mike Evans, who, by the way, gets away with a Michael Irvin type of
push off. Yes.
And doesn't catch the ball. I mean, that describes this Bucs offense lately. Just so frustrating.
I have nothing to add to that, Pete, other than the fact.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate the call, my friend.
Dave, have a good day, man. Nice seeing you.
Dave. I have nothing to add to that other than the fact that I kept telling everybody, again, we're down here at Krabby's in the past, big Buccaneer watch party for all the season ticket holders, had a big party up there. I'd like to say it was still going, but it pretty much ended right at 4 o'clock or a little before. But the irony in all this is not, and I'm not saying Todd Bowles is done. Of course, I think he's here for the season. We'll see where this team ends up falling, where the chips fall. Let them fall where they will. But the irony in all this is that maybe no one's ever going to get a chance to see how Byron Leftwich would have been as a head coach, because the truth is that guy may end up burning to embers just being under a Todd Bowles team, which basically at the end of the day, nobody knows who's in charge. And here's the thing. They had 53 guys on their side that are paid professionals. We had 53 guys on our side that are paid professionals. The little bit of extra sauce is the way you guys are led. And today, Steve Wilkes, a Carolina guy, went to Appalachia State, throw out from my son Tristan Kennedy, but Appalachia State, Carolina Panther coach in some form for 14-something years, ends up getting a job as interim coach. And today, he led his 53 guys against Todd Bowles' 53 guys and buried the lead. Steve Wilkes' 53 guys, they won the game.
Yep, they won the game. I tell you what, let's go out to one of our fans here using that fan video. Let's go out to Patrick here. Patrick, are you there? Welcome to the Evolution.
Where's the video?
Well, we got no video, I guess. Patrick, are you there?
They can't come on. No video, no come on.
Oh,
there he is.
There you go, Patrick. Welcome to the Evolution. What do you have
What's
to
up,
say,
Pat?
friend, after the Bucs?
What's going on, man? Today was
wow, looks like Leo.
Heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
Today was heartbreaking, man. But it just seems like this team wants to try to turn it on. We just can't just turn it on. We got to play the whole game. You see what I'm saying? So, that's all I want to say.
Well, and you haven't played the whole game, and do you have any confidence here, Patrick? And we'll we'll ask you this: do you have any confidence going into Thursday night football versus Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens team at this point, when you haven't been able to compete versus the Panthers, and you put up that type of effort today versus the Panthers?
Not if our D looks like that, man. Not if not if we're getting gashed. And Lamar's gonna kill us, man. If our D looks like that and our offense, if we can't put no points on the board, it's gonna be hard, man. Very hard.
Very hard,
Just
absolutely.
these last 2 weeks has been hard to look at, man. I've been a Bucs fan since '93, man, and it's just it's
All right, Pat. Thanks a lot for using the video phone there. Any final thoughts before you get out of here on the Evolution?
not, man. I just hope we just get better, man, and go Bucs, man.
All right, go Bucs. Good stuff there. Let me get you out of here on that. Thanks a lot, guys. If you want to get on video and be a star of the show, click on the link or call the phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Ray, you want to say this, Ray? Put your shirt down because nobody wants to see that, including this offense today. What else did you see from this game? I'll tell you what. Hold on. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Roger Shue, the tribal troll here. What do you have to say? Welcome to the Evolution.
All right. Well, hey, Harry. Hey, Ray.
What's going on?
Peter, before the game started, I gave you my picks. I took the Commandos over the Pack.
Commanders.
I took the Panthers.
Hold on. I got a Drinko-meter here. You know what the Drinko-meter's telling me? He's had about 8. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, man?
I got the drink meter kicking here. It's about 8, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, not even close. I took the
12
Commandos over the Pack. I took the Panthers over the Bucs, and I took the Bears over the Pats.
Okay, well,
right,
you're
well,
probably going to go 2 out of 3.
We'll see. What will be your thoughts on this game besides yourself, patting yourself on the back?
Hey, the Greek, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, brother.
No, sir. 2 out of 3. You do that every single week. You're making money.
Acknowledge me.
Appreciate
Tampa
the call.
Bay Ray, where's the Doug Martin half shirt?
No.
Come on, Ray. There it is.
Okay, nobody wants to see that at all or start playing viral. Get out of here, Roger Shue. All right. Go ahead and give me some thoughts on this game. Also, what you saw Harry the Greek.
You're wanting thoughts of the game? That's my thought of the game. Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, come on, Ray, you hit it right on the head when we were talking earlier. I mean, Tom Brady. It's just there's a lack of inconsistency everywhere. But I'm telling you, Peter and I were watching the game together for the first half, and he's sitting over here, and we're kind of dissecting a few plays, things were going on. And it's really fun to watch a game through a fan's eyes as well as an objective eye. Look, man, they weren't ready for this game. It's just as simple as that. It doesn't pass the eye test.
I don't know how.
NFL stands for what? Repeat after me. No friggin' logic.
But guys,
now they're playing Baltimore. They're going to be underdogs in their own home stadium, maybe by 1 or 2 points, and this is when they win the game. It's not for long and no friggin' logic. I mean, and you know what? Ray hit it again. Here's my thoughts on the game. Get Bruce Arians off the sideline. Get him off the team. Let Todd Bowles run this team. This is the same offensive coordinator that they had last year.
Hey, Harry,
Ray, yes,
I got one for you. So finally, I think we're actually, and this is no disrespect to what Tom's going through, because the whole the Giselle thing in the family, you can't control that. That's just real life shit. Tom will tell you that himself. But as far as going to New England last weekend or wherever that wedding was for Robert Kraft, I think we're now discovering maybe the answer to who was the reason for the dynasty in New England and the reason for the Bucs Super Bowl in 2020. It wasn't always so much just because Tom is the greatest of all time, which, by the way, go to the numbers, he actually is. But maybe you do need a lockdown coach who's kicking ass behind the scenes, along with the greatest of all time at quarterback, to have a successful championship team. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
he's never been behind an offensive line as atrocious as this. I'm going to keep telling you this. I implore anybody to tell me an offensive line that he's had, including his rookie season, that was as bad is this.
But Harry, that first drive, that first two drives, the offensive line. I'm standing up here with a bunch of season ticket holders with the Bucs. I got a couple of cheerleaders. We got the whole rah-rah team going on. The Miller Lite girls are handing out free beers, and I'm looking and I'm pointing out the offensive blocks that this line was making. Tom Brady had 4 fucking seconds to throw that ball, and he still threw it at the feet. He still threw it at the feet of a wide receiver. So my problem is it because Tom's too busy going to billionaire weddings and he doesn't trust his offensive line? Is it because the receivers don't expect Tom to have the time to throw the ball? Mike Evans drops that 50-yarder on a first drive, and let's be honest, guys, I think Peter already alluded to the fact that if Mike Evans catches that first drive to get that scored a touchdown, it's an entirely different ball game. It's probably a runaway. So the point I'm making here is the fact that this offensive line, and it is atrocious. We had 3 Pro Bowlers in 2021.
Yeah, and I guess Ray froze up there.
No,
So
that's a great point that he's talking about.
Right.
You know, you can bring the caller on. Just put him on hold for a second. That's a great point that he's bringing up, Peter. But you have to also remember, one play doesn't define the entire game when you lose by that many points. Let's get that out of the way. That's a very bad excuse.
You're not able to score a
sorry.
touchdown in the first quarter. You're the only team in the NFL, and you have a gift wrap touchdown. I tell you what, save that point. Let's go out to Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution. After the Bucs fall to the Carolina Panthers 21-3 and fall to 3-4. Your thoughts?
I have two things to say.
What up, brother?
Most importantly is I fell asleep after. I fell asleep in the second quarter because I already seen how the thing was going. That's number one. Number two, I told my buddy last week, the way we played against Pittsburgh last week, I guarantee, my buddy sitting right here, I told him last week we were going to lose this game. And what the hell? There's no life in this team.
None.
Nothing. There's nothing at all there.
Nope.
So what the hell am I watching? Why am I watching? What? Why am I going to get? You know what? You know what that was like. You remember? God, I hate to go back in history. This reminded me of the game where we played Washington and we had 500 yards on offense and no points.
Oh,
Yes.
I remember that.
I was in the press box.
You
for
remember that game?
Yes.
You remember that game, Harry?
I was in the press
Yes, I
box
do.
for that also, and it was
Dude,
terrible.
Curtis, I have a question for Curtis.
What's up?
I have a question for Curtis. Curtis,
Talk to me, brother.
without going into the top 20 reasons what you think the issue is with this game, do you think this falls on Brady's hands? Do you think it's more of a coaching staff, or do you think it's an offensive line issue?
Dude, I'm going to tell you something.
Just from the offensive standpoint of things, I don't want to talk about the defense. I want to know one of those three things. Which one is it?
Listen. I'm going to just say this from top to bottom. On the offense, anything offensively, they need to scrap right now. Simple as that.
Well, nothing's working right now, and when it starts to work, they go away from it. It makes no sense. You're successful on that drive. When you get down to 3rd and 1, you run the ball, you get stopped, and then you go for 4th and 1, and you decide to try to run the ball outside, and the Panthers know it's coming. Why? Because you did the same thing last week.
Easy, boy.
I think I saw that. I was like in and out because I had a very long weekend. I was at the beach with my kids and stuff this weekend.
Which one of the three do you think it is? Please answer the question.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question.
I think they all have to do with each other. I really.
So
do.
you don't think
that is really look? That's fair.
I look at. Well, and let me just answer it by saying this. I seen one drive. It was first and 10. You got 9 yards. 2nd and 1, you throw the ball. 3rd and 1, you throw the ball, and then you do a damn toss on 4th and 1. Dude, I've seen better runs and draws. Are you serious?
I remember the drive you were talking about. It was very exciting to see him running the draw and then a cross play. That was exciting. Unfortunately, the defense read it perfectly. I just want to say one thing, and I'm going to point out something. Ray talked about that in the first 2 drives, it was this, it was that. Look, that was more of Carolina's defense getting adjusted to what Tampa Bay was going to throw at them. And Peter, you remember, you were sitting 2 feet away from me. We were watching the game, and I was like, wow. They're running 5-man protect, sometimes 6-man protect, only against a 3-man rush from Carolina. Yeah, you're going to be able to move the ball downfield because they're keeping everything in front of them. And when Carolina realized that they could get pressure with 4 men, there wasn't really any need to blitz.
Yeah,
I think Leftwich is becoming predictable.
He's been predictable.
Predictable. They threw the ball downfield 3 times in the first half. deep,
Leftwich
not
is
downfield,
I,
deep downfield.
Mike Evans, I take my hat off to that guy. That guy is beat up and he's still out there trying to play.
Pete, I'm sorry, but you said my boy said becoming predictable. Byron Leftwich is becoming predictable.
Well,
I think that's kind of the narrative, the argument we've been having for the last 4 weeks. Byron Leftwich is predictable, but we don't know if it's Tom Brady calling the audibles or Byron Leftwich setting into plays. That's the disconnect.
Yeah, agree. Good stuff, Ray.
Predictable. I love it. Hi, Ray.
I don't even know what I'm watching. I don't. I don't even know what I'm watching.
It's unbelievable, but you feel like when they go up 7-0 at halftime, maybe this wakes up this team, but they're just asleep at this point. I mean, they're asleep at the wheel.
When it was 7-0 at halftime, I told you this game was over with. We couldn't even get 3.
DJ friggin' Moore, DJ Moore and PJ Walker. Who would have thought? Not Baker Mayfield and DJ Moore, not Baker Mayfield and Robbie Anderson, PJ Walker and
no Christian McCaffrey.
I'd like to give a little sports update. That's all, just a little sports update.
Go for it.
We were all talking earlier on the over-under, and we were talking about the JETS, Jets. Brees Hall just peeled off, I don't know, a 70-yard run from behind the line of scrimmage. And the Jets are up 7-0 over Denver, Ray. That's unbelievable.
And look, they have an identity. And Curtis, go ahead and finish up. We'll get to what the Jets are. But
I'm gonna just say this. At this point, I just feel like I don't. It doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, for at this point, I just feel like we're tanking.
I don't know
what. I don't even know what to believe. I don't even. There's no explanation. There's nothing.
They got the second half of the season to figure it out. They play in a shit division. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it for what it is. They're going to get healthier on the offensive line. We're going to be looking back at this in about 5 or 6 weeks, and everybody's going to realize, wow, they're not as good as they were, but you know what? They still have a chance. And if they can get that offensive line a little bit more solidified and get better play out of the tight end position, I think you're going to see a difference. But until then, Atlanta's not catching this team, guys. They're not passing this team. Carolina isn't either.
I respect what you're saying, and hopefully it's true. But listen, today's NFL is nothing like when I was a kid and it was growing up.
No,
you have to show me now. It's not show me 6 weeks from now.
Right.
I mean, if it happens 6 weeks from now, good. But we're not talking about 6 weeks from now because we don't know what the hell is going to happen 6 weeks from now. We're talking about it right now.
And by the way, FYI, Pat Mahomes just threw an interception. San Francisco now has the ball. While we're doing this show, we're going to give it to you live, a couple of different games. You don't even have to watch the games. You could just watch this show. We could beat on the Bucs a little bit. We can prognosticate, and we can also give updates and other football scores.
I'll give you guys this, though. And Curtis, you can probably jump in here on this. The Bucs finish week 4. We go out to Dallas. We go out to New Orleans. We take care of New Orleans in a regular season. Oh, great. We're 2-0. Then we come home. We lose 2 games to the Packers and the Chiefs. Wow, we're happy at 2-2 at the hardest schedule in the 2022 NFL season's opening. Now we've lost a game to the shitty Falcons and the even shittier Panthers, and now we got the Ravens coming in here on Thursday night, and all of a sudden now it's like, wow, this may be an actual reality. I mean, the NFC South still looks like the crappiest division in football. The NFC least isn't even the worst anymore. Now it's actually somehow the best in the NFC. But now all of a sudden you're like, we still think the Bucs. And here's the thing, Curtis. I want to finish up real quick, Pete. Thanks for letting me go rant here. Is that we were this far off on a lot of plays today. So I mean, there's your cause for a little bit of optimism. We were that close on a lot of plays. The defense, though, giving up those passes and then being susceptible to the run, not understanding it. As much as other defenses are reading how Byron Leftwich is going to run our offense, our defense seems to have no idea as to what the other when they challenged that they made the challenge on that pass play, and then they come out and they run 2 running plays to the touchdown. I turned to the guy next to me, a season ticket holder for the Bucs, and I went, wow. So that challenge wasn't even about whether Steve Wilkes thought they were going to get that call. That challenge was about to put the Bucs on their heels to run 2 running plays and put it in the end zone. That was the first touchdown of the day, and that was when you realized, or no, what was it, the second? But that's when you realized this 2022 Buccaneers team is in trouble because they're getting out-coached at a lot of corners.
Yeah, you can be. But, Ray, you know what they say, right? The word almost only counts in what, gentlemen? Horseshoes, hand grenades, and one last thing, shit fights.
Yeah,
because
wow.
you can climb close to you and it gets on you a little bit.
That was definitely
it's kind of a little bit of a funny, but it's true, right, Ray?
show today. That was definitely a shit show.
The NFL, please repeat after me. What does it stand for, Ray?
No
frigging logic.
All right, Curtis, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always, my friend. Use that.
My brother, Curtis, what's happening?
All right, guys.
All right, good stuff there. Let's go back out to these comments as we are here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports, Tampa Bay, Ray out there on Krabby's on the Pass. Krabby's on the Pass, right? And Madeira Beach there.
No, it's in Treasure Island, but it's on the Treasure Island side of the Johns Pass Bridge, yes.
Okay, all right, great. So let's go out to Misador. I think the Bucs fired Chiano. Gage hasn't been great. We need a kick return or two. Could maybe create a spark in those games. I mean, Jalen Darden had some bright spots. He didn't actually go out of bounds the whole game. Besides that, Jake Kermata, if you're a Jake Kermata fan, fourth-round pick punter, you were loving it today. The problem with that is he's a freaking
I think you did a good job.
You guys, I know both of you guys saw my post there. I did it at halftime or early in the third quarter. I said the fact that Jake Camarda is your 2022 Buccaneer MVP is not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing at all. All right, I dare Roger Shoe to call in. He did troll Marpet, Kappa, Jensen, and Gronk. Can't be that huge of a swing. It is, and we also talked about it as much as we don't like the shenanigans off the field and giving up on this team and quitting. How much did Antonio Brown mean to that? And I'll tell you right now, I mean, I think a lot of it is distractions off the field. I hate to say
Who commented and made that comment about earlier today that Antonio, was that a text message you got that, or no, that was the announcer that turned around and says,
yes.
Please share with everybody how ignorant someone can be, even on national television, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. You repeat the comment because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
It was something in the regards that Antonio Brown was, oh Lord, they're missing his production. He was the most something about being the most productive player on the team.
Well, look, you know, he was hurt last year. He had the fake COVID vaccine card, but the year before, he was definitely important to this run. And they haven't still been able to put together. Chris Godwin's still getting over that injury, but at the end of the day, it comes down to so many things. It goes back to one facet. You have to execute when you have big plays down the field. And I get it. It's the first drive, but it's such an important drive for this team because, look, if you do score that touchdown with Mike Evans, don't you feel a little bit better? You finally scored in the first quarter, which you haven't been able to do all year long. This team does not know how to get off to a good start. And you're exactly right, Harry and Ray. They are never prepared to play. And whether you want to talk about execution or players, that's on freaking coaching.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I'm sorry about the wind, guys, but, you know, this is the way it is this time of year here in West Central Florida, on here at Krabby's on the Pass. Beautiful day out here. I want to thank Daniel Sullivan and the rest of the staff here that really took care of me all day. But even if it's not bad coaching, which don't make a mistake here. I'm not saying that Todd Bowles is bad coaching his team, but maybe he's over coaching his team. But there's a reason why these wide receivers, their asses are this tight that they drop an easy pass like that. That Mike Evans on a 50-yarder, you guys both know, every Buccaneer fan out there knows when you saw that play, this was something they drew up. They drew this shit up on purpose in practice because it was obviously a great pass. Mike Evans goes deep across the middle when everybody's trying to stop him from the short outs, which they've been doing all year, by the way, bury the lead. And Mike Evans is wide open. Now, am I saying Mike Evans is not a Hall of Fame receiver? Hell no. He's still a Hall of Fame receiver, and I hope but I turned as a Bucs fan here, and I said, wow, if Mike does get to the end of the season, doesn't get that 9th 1,000-yard season, he's going to look back at that very first play of this game in Week 7 because that was a gimme that he dropped.
Is there a possibility, Ray, that there could have been some fruition to that comment? There was a defensive player a couple of weeks that said that they were bored. I mean, I didn't really read on it. I overheard you talking about that.
White.
I mean,
could talking about it, and he's supposed to be one of the leaders of your team, and he's also supposed to be up for a new contract. And if that's one of your leaders talking about how the defense was bored because they got up big, that's a problem. And again, that's on coaching. Coaching has to get you up for the game. They can have to continue to get you prepared for the game, and you got to go to Devin White if he wants a big-time contract extension or wants a new contract and tell him to shut the hell up.
Well, Peter,
bored.
This goes back to what I taught my conversation with James Canada from the Big Game Sports Buzz. James actually texted me at halftime because he's traveling back from Nevada. Of course, Nevada. We went home for a Nevada homecoming for all the former players. Go Wolfpack! And he said, "What's going on?" And I thought he was just speaking metaphorically. And I said, "Oh, we'll get this." He said, "No, I'm traveling. I have no idea what's going on. I apologize again for the breeze." But I talked with James, and I said that this 2022 team is almost in danger of having a chasm. Even though nobody ever admitted back in 2001, 2002, Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and Ronnie Barber and Johnny Lynch, they were too above the fray to admit it. But I said to James Canada from the Big Game Sports Buzz, drop again, I said this 2022 team is in danger of having that same type of chasm because it seems like the offensive side of the ball is dropping, the ball. And James and I were talking about that. And then you hear a comment out of Devin White this week about how we're bored on that side. And therein lies again the problem with the coaching. It's a separation of church and state. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Special Teams Assistant. What is it, guys?
Father, the Son, and the Holy Special
All right,
Teams
so with
Assistant.
that being said, we got Tampa Bay Ray, Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to these comments. Trevor Miller says the team is straight trash. I still can't believe this nightmare. Can't believe it either. James says B.A. Wooden, the whole point was to help his boys out, which I think he felt like this team was in a better shape. I just think, again, I don't know where you go. I mean, is it coaching? Is it player talent at this
Pete, can I stop you there for a minute?
Sure, go for it.
Right now, just while you're making that point, I'll be short. The fact is, let's remember, B.A. is still the coach. He's the head coach of the Buccaneers. And all of a sudden, Tom announces he's coming back, and B.A. does step aside. And everybody's like, oh, it was the chasm that was created because, Leftwich and Tom were in there at 3 a.m. drawing up these evil offensive plays, and then Coach Bowles or Coach Arians would come in and just go, I know. Well, now we're looking back at it now 4 months later or 6 months later, and now it's like, well, maybe B.A. realized now that Tom's coming back, shit's not going to hit the fan as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's a good time to hand it off to Coach Leftwich. I know he couldn't have foreseen Ryan Jensen retiring, but Alex Kappa had already left, and he realized the depth problem we have in this offensive line because he's the head coach of this team. So hopefully he did realize the lack of depth that we had the backup offensive line for this team. So it kind of makes you start to wonder, did B.A. step aside because with Tom coming back, he was like, let me give you a good scenario? Because if Tom doesn't come back, would B.A. be the one standing here with Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask at quarterback taking all the heat for this? Who knows?
That's good insight right there.
It is, absolutely. I'll tell you what, let's keep on reading these comments here. Renzi says, no pass rush at all. I mean, that's another thing. 1 sack by Vita Vea, who once again was a man on a milk carton, because you can't tell me he's making plays when your defense, the staple of it, is to stop the running game. That was not Christian McCaffrey out there, guys. That was Chuba Hubbard out there as running back, and he looks like Christian McCaffrey. Make some sense of this defense at this point.
You played well.
Have they really taken this much of a step back?
I talked to J.C. Allen from Pewter Report on the Cup of Ray pregame. If you haven't watched it, I've had 3 views. Go watch it. You'll be the 4th. I'm kidding. Pete, don't start laughing. I swear to God, I'll blame you of a conspiracy theory. But the truth of the matter is, I said that now that Christian McCaffrey gets moved to San Francisco and then, they get the draft picks and all, did that not make it a little easier for the Carolina Panthers? Because now instead of feeding a guy who's making $8 million a year who's constantly injured, now you can go to a Devontae Foreman, or you can go to a Chuba Hubbard, or you can open it up a little bit. I wish at the end of the day that would have been the case, because I could say the Buccaneers' run defense was solidly responsible for this loss. But the truth of the matter is, it started on offense. We go to halftime at 0-0, or they score right before the half. But the truth of the matter is, this Buccaneers offense, there's no way in hell they should not have scored at least 10 to 17 points against this Carolina Panthers defense before.
Right?
Halftime.
Do you know what that line was at halftime?
You remember we talked about it. You said
no. The second half line. I was correct in the first half to take Carolina.
Right.
The second half line, after the Bucs fell down to them, they were favorite by 9.5 points. They didn't even score a single point in the game, and they got this team 9.5 point favorites in the second half. Just think about that.
Wow. So there's people that knows they know what they're talking about, and it goes back to again the coaching. Is Coach Arians going to come out of the box? Is Jason Light going to turn it over to Arians? Is Arians going to yell at somebody? Is Tom going to? They figured there's one thing about Tom Brady. He screws up every now and then, very rarely, but rarely does he screw up twice in a row. Now, he did screw up this time because he yelled at the O-line last week, and then he made the stupid reference to our military men and women who are overseas or, stationed, and he said the comparison of football. We can get a slide on all that. You're the greatest of all time, but rarely does Tom Brady screw up 2 times in a row. And Harry, when you said that the Panthers were favored in the second half after that first half, I think the entire
not the Panthers. The Buccaneers were 9.5-point favorites at that point.
Because what the hell?
You think
and didn't even score a point.
Didn't even score a point. All right, every man report, whatever this is. Time to give Jimmy Graham a workout. Jeremiah,
you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Not from a blocking standpoint, but from a receiving standpoint.
Well, Kyle Rudolph actually had a catch today, I think. Cade Otton showed out just a little bit. He was a lone bright spot. Again, Mike Evans, 9 catches for 96 yards. They finally targeted him, but the big one is the missed touchdown. Brandon says Hicks' absence has hurt the D, and the injury on the O-line is hurting the offense.
Where's Vita Vea?
Execution, mediocre play calling. Yeah, that's it. Every man report. Light should be scapegoat this offseason. Renzi says left tackle and left guard are playing horrible. Donovan Smith being beaten by Julius Peppers. Oh, wait, no, it's Brian Burns with the spin move there on Donovan Smith, doing Donovan Smith type of things. We need to leave Brady alone for what? James says, exactly, man. Garbage yards in the second quarter isn't momentum. Renzi says we need JPP back. A lot of people have talked about the leadership qualities of JPP and Sue. That's what's missing on this.
Wait a minute. Do JPP and Sue, do they play on offense? Because if they don't play on offense, this Buccaneers team might be missing them, but they sure as hell ain't losing because of them. They're losing because this offense can't put that fucking ball in the end zone. Pardon my French.
Well, and that's okay. It's okay.
That sounded like English to me, brother.
Yeah, it did sound like English to me. I know we're privileged to have Tampa Bay Ray on here with his French language speaking, but at the end of the day, you're missing that consistent pass rush. The reason why Vita Vea has taken a step back is because you don't have Akeem Hicks there. You have other players that are not necessarily producing. That's the reason why you're not.
Guys, this defense stopped them. There was no scores in the first half for what, 28 minutes. And this defense is stopping them, but the offense goes out there and does this, and then Carmada goes, boom, 2022 best player on the Buccaneers team is that punter, and then so eventually, at what point do you go, wow, this defense is tired as shit? I go back to the game against the Green Bay Packers. This defense was on the field for 48 of 60 minutes. At what point do you go, okay, the defense is missing easy plays, but really it's because of that goddamn offense? I mean, am I the only one that sees this?
No, you're not the only one that sees this, but I'd like to make one little point.
Yeah.
And we were watching the game, and everybody remembers on fourth down, they went for it on fourth down because you didn't want to take the points. I says, you're on the road. I still think this team is living on their Super Bowl win from 2 years ago, or we got Tom Brady.
Well, you heard Todd Bowles
look, man,
about this last week.
I don't know, dude. You got to take the points there. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're down 7-0. There is nothing wrong being down 7-3.
No, Harry, it was 14-0. They take 3 points to go 14-3, and I'm thinking, really, because I'll give this nice lady, season ticket holder who was here at the Bucs watch party here at Krabby's on the Pass. I look at her, I go, what? It's third quarter. We're down 14-0. We're going for 3, and she looked at me and she goes, you got to put points on the board. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that's a defensive coach's losing mentality because Bruce Arians wouldn't have went for 3. I mean, really, what are you telling the rest of your team? That we're going to put 3 on the board so that we're not shut out? And I hope we find our asses from a hole in the ground in the fourth quarter.
The only thing I'm trying to say about that, Ray, is you're on the road. You're in a hostile environment. You're in a division game. Your offense isn't really clicking. At least go back to the sideline, look up on the board, and you got 3 points. Now you're coming back. And at any point, even when they were down 14-0, Ray, I got to be honest with you, when I seen Brady getting the ball and he's methodically putting the ball downfield, I was like, okay, there's a chance. Just don't try to push it too deep. Don't get too impatient. But that's what I'm watching. I'm watching a lot of impatience with this team. They're pushing this ball downfield too hard right now. It goes back to this offensive line, Ray. I hate to keep standing on a soapbox and preaching it. This offensive line is atrocious. They're not giving him time to pass. And I understand he's one of the least sacked quarterbacks in football, but please spare me about PFF ratings. Please spare me about how many times a quarterback is sacked. Tell me how many times he's getting hurried in that pocket, and you're going to see a huge difference.
Plenty of time, and that screws up the timing. And we saw with Brady today with the hitch, getting pressure and missing Chris Godwin. He's not, without fault. He's not playing his best football. He knows that, but you also have to help. You had to have a little bit of help from your friends. I know there's a song out there that said that.
I thought you were
I get
going to recite
high.
a Bible verse.
I get high with a little help from my friends.
Well,
But
for me, I feel like you would have to be high in order to watch this offense at this juncture because there is no scoring, no creativity at all.
right.
Rashid White comes in, goes screen pass for 7 yards, runs for 6 yards, then becomes in. You talk about a guy going on a milk carton. He goes on a milk carton. Forget about Vita Vea. And then they bring in Leonard Fournette and they run the pitch to him. Again, here's the thing. I felt bad about this because I will admit this. I've been on the soapbox for since last year that when you got 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, throw a pitch to Leonard Fournette. The guy's 240 pounds of muscle. He'll get that yard, but they throw it to Leonard Fournette. But then you know what? They forgot to have a wide receiver or a fucking tight end try to block for him. And Leonard Fournette's looking at 5 defenders coming at him in the backfield. I'm like, I get it. I see where they try to do. I understand what Byron Leftwich is trying to do. But at the end of the day, it is execution. But it's not so much execution, I think, from the fact that these players don't know what they're doing. I think it's execution from the fact that these shitty play calls. That's what I saw on that. You tell me on that pitch to you pitch it to go back and watch it, guys and girls out there watching that pitch to Leonard Fournette to the right side, and there's 5 Panthers in the backfield. Nobody blocking. Everybody's like,
they knew it's coming. They knew it was coming last week because they ran the same 4th down play versus the Steelers, and they were successful and went back to the well once again. But guess what? If I can see it, you can see it, Harry can see it, the fans can see it. Guess what? Defensive coordinators can see it. You're on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television after a disappointing loss by your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 21-3, to fall to the lowly Panthers. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to the text line here. James says, appreciate you always being here for us to voice our opinions. That's what it's all about. Look at Ray. He's already next to the bridge. Please don't do it, Ray. Now says, this is so sad. Absolutely. Dave says, watching this game in person today in Carolina was an absolutely embarrassing. Offense is a joke. James again, I don't want to bitch about the defense, but our pass rush has fell off quite a bit. Michael says, thank you, Ray. Amen. James again, Ray for the W. Dave again, defense looked like, this as well. James says, Todd Bowles is defensive. Josh McDaniels, laugh out loud. Jesse says, Bucs are just trash right now. We need to make some changes. And I kind of wonder, gentlemen, what those changes could be. Could you be changing Luke Gadecki at left guard, putting in Nick Leverett? Could you be changing play calling? Could BA be coming back to the side? I don't know at this juncture what you do, but you better do something because if you don't, you're going to be looking at 3-5 very quickly. Sean says no leadership being shown on this team. Seems like it's going through a whirlwind this season. Roger says Commandos beat the pack. I'm 100 on my picks. Congratulations. Chris Cole says most of the NFC is trash. Sean says as the Bucs turns, I've been here before with the Bucs. If you're a true fan, go Bucs. Okay. George says great interview, and he is correct. Better play all around for TB. James says, yes, definitely been here before, but damn, this was a team a play away from the NFC Championship last year, and the whole bed. Michael says Brady's special provisions need to be tossed out. Chris says CMC just had 2 10-yard plus runs. Yash says this is a team issue. There is no heart, no pride, and there is no self-accountability. Let's go to that comment right there. Agree or disagree? Is it about accountability? And once again, that falls on coaching, right, Harry the Greek?
You know what? It's a good comment, and it's a very, very safe comment. It's always, like I always say, it's easy to make the sexy pick. Look, accountability is with every football team. It's with every coaching staff. This lies deeper than just being accountable. They're holding their players accountable. They just ain't getting it done. You see, there's the big difference. They're just not getting it done. And Ray, stand up on that box again. Let's talk about all the problems this team has, starting with Tom Brady, going out on Friday night to go to Robert Kraft's, wedding, and
it could be his funeral. Who knows?
And
honestly, it could be the Bucs funeral.
The Hooby Jooby white magic that's over the top of them. There's a combination of everything.
Well, I want to ask
It's
Ray.
accountability. It's
Well,
always about accountability.
not
Ray,
only accountability, guys, but it's also identity. You talked about the Jets and Brees Hall. You know what to expect from them. They're going to depend on that young running back. They're going to depend on their defense. Ray, what is the identity for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team?
Best punter in the NFC, Jake Camarda, rookie out of Georgia. I mean, really, let's be honest. Going into Week 8, Thursday night against the Baltimore Ravens there at Ray J, let's be honest, so far, the identity of this Buccaneers team is they've got, and I'm not sure if the numbers are actual proven out to that, but they've got one of the, if not the best punters in the National Football League, and then bury the lead, Ryan Suckup, Mr. Irrelevant, is also having a pretty good year so far, too. The Bucs are 3-4. What do you want from me?
Yeah, I don't know. I want something. I want some type of change at this point with this Bucs team, and I'm not sure if I don't want that. So nobody wants to see that at all.
That wasn't it. Okay.
All right, let's see here. Troy says Rays have been on the dock. They're standing up since 9 a.m. Michael says all the injuries this season and last year still doesn't help. Agree with that. Javon says Nick Leverett was in the game. The O-line was moving a little bit better, and Leftwich put
Gadecki back in. Why?
Gadecki back in. Why?
Guys, it wasn't just the offensive line today. I counted, and then they even showed the replay. Tom Brady had 4 seconds on that near interception. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. So that tells me the 11 days in camp, and then the weekend at Bernie's that was, Robert Kraft's wedding. That tells me this team's got a direct disconnect. Does it come from the coach? Does it come from the general manager? Does Malcolm Glazier need to come out of the grave and yell at these guys? I don't know at this point. I apologize for making that reference, but I'm just saying nobody knows exactly where the truth lies because we go back to 2020 and we were in a pandemic. We got the greatest of all time. We had Bruce Arians. We've got a great team. We already had a great defense in place. So really, you can go back and look at 2020. We struggled through the whole season. We won the last 4 games and our defense won through the playoffs. The truth is, since 2019 or 2020, this team, the entire team has been a question mark. Now we're all of a sudden realizing that sometimes that question mark can kind of hurt.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I was thinking the same thing. Roger Shue says back. Greg Cole says, even with the bad O-line, no defensive backfield to speak of. They were not the reason for losing to the Steelers and the Panthers. The team being bad is a coaching issue. How great of a coach is BA now? Coach of the year, won a Super Bowl. And to me, I think he's been very underappreciated by this Bucs fan base and the people out there that wanted BA gone. Hey, listen, you got what you wanted. Now you made your bed, you got to sleep in it. And I know you're begging for BA to come back, and who knows what happens at this juncture. Bulls is trashed, as Roger Shue. Niners up 10-0 over Kansas City. Misador, this team is vastly underprepared. Yes, execution is lacking. However, a good coach can still hide those weaknesses. Good comment by me. Brad says, even the broadcast announcer mentioned how predictable the offensive play calls were. That's a problem. I'm not a fire the coach guy, but if Bowles doesn't turn this around, he will be done as a head coach in the NFL. JJ says, dude shouldn't be outside during the broadcast. Sounds horrible. Sorry, that's what we got here on the Evolution. He's out here right now. He's dealing with the elements as well as you're dealing with the elements, but thanks a lot for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Wait, who said that? Who said that?
JJ Isaac.
Yo, fuck JJ Isaac. Come out here and do this shit yourself, bitch.
All right, it's easy now, Ray. Tampa Bay Ray. Misador says Bowman was calling off Leftwich the entire game. Me says never say Kyle Trask out loud. Troy Polamalu. Vita Vea needs to join Weight Watchers. Misador says, yes, let's keep signing receiving targets and avoid the issue of a poor offensive line play in depth. Misador says, Ray, that wasn't French. Troy says, Bowles and Sandwich are master Malakas. Misador, Ray is spitting French fluently. Misador, pre-Cherry, never pass on points in a close game. Misador, again, you're down 7-0. You go for it on 4th down when you couldn't move the ball on the 2 previous plays. Once again, Misador, Donovan Smith has returned to the center block feet of old. John, it will be a long time before the Bucs get to another Super Bowl, a very long time. Misador, the French is flowing. Renzi, do we move our center to left guard when Jensen comes back at this point? Of course,
I'm glad, Pete, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm glad he made that point because the thing is, again, going into 2020, We always talked about Donovan Smith's best ability was his availability. And then all of a sudden, Tom Brady, who gets the rid of the ball in an average of 1.8 seconds, and Donovan Smith is pretty much locking it down at left tackle. Didn't make the Pro Bowl like 3 of his offensive line mates did last season, but still was been holding it down. But man, today we did see a Donovan Smith. I don't know if it's injury related or Donovan having a hard time at home. Maybe he's going through some family issues. I hope not, Donovan. But man, he got burnt like toast today. And I mean, you start to wonder, is it the rest of the offensive line? I mean, because he's out on an island. The rest of the offensive line held their guys in check on that play, and Donovan got spun around like a spindle.
Well, to answer that question, I think Jensen goes back to center, and at this point, I've had enough of Gadecki as a rookie. He's played terrible. Move Hansey there, move Leverett there, move whoever the hell you want to move there, but getting Ryan Jensen back. And once again, this is just a report coming out, nothing official by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But talking about it, Ryan Jensen, how much of a critical injury was it to this offensive line? We kind of, undersold it and said, you know what, this line will be fine, but they really aren't.
Hey, guys. I told you I was going to ask this every once in a blue moon. Have us as a 3-shot.
Sure, go ahead.
What does the NFL stand for?
No freaking logic.
Ray?
No freaking logic.
Houston, second quarter, 4 minutes to go, beating the Raiders 10-3. Got one better for you. Frisco's beating Kansas City 10-7. That's not a huge surprise.
I called that.
Hold on. They're not done yet. It's 14 minutes to go in the second quarter. Denver's getting ready to kick a field goal to go up 9-7 against the Jets. But here's your no friggin' logic. The LA Chargers are at home losing 14-0 in the first quarter.
And
to who? Seattle is beating the Chargers 14-0.
I hate Mike. I hate Fat Mike for that now. I hate Fat Mike for that because he called that.
I know, but let's repeat after me. No frigging logic.
No
and by the way,
frigging logic.
Correct. And now, by the way, Denver misses the field goal. It looks like it was, I don't know, it started left and it hooked all the way to the right. What?
It's white. Florida State fans' nightmare.
No, but seriously, guys, no friggin' logic. Anybody want to take they were only 5-point favorites. They're losing 14-0. And by the way, let's go back to the gambling portion of things. Remember when I told you about trap games?
Yeah.
Before the game started, you're going to say, oh, my God, the Chargers are supposed to just destroy Seattle. They're at home, the whole 9 yards. Why is it only 5 points? Trap. And I fell into it as well. Okay, and I never fall into traps. But really, 5 points? The Chargers against the hapless Seattle team? Really?
The problem, guys, my question I asked, let's just throw it in here because going into week 6, we kind of I asked this question today on the over-under there with you, Harry and Peter, on the over-under on the 1252 Sports is what teams are selling. And we talked about maybe Chicago's being a team that's selling or other teams that are being a team that's selling. And let's be honest, guys. Yeah, we had that, everyone back in 2021 and we lose in the divisional round to the Rams and we won the championship in 2020. But at what point does Jason Light not go, okay, we do have a plethora, Leo word, of talent at all the positions. Maybe we can start letting some of these guys get out there and we can bring in draft capital so we can be set for 2022. I'm not saying give up on this season. What I'm saying is we've got Leo word, plethora of talent in all the positions.
It's plethora, but who's asking?
I say plethora, whatever. I was
plethora, tomato.
But at what point could the Buccaneers become a team that's selling a little bit? Because really, we got enough talent. There's some other teams
sell. They need to buy.
They need
buy
to
what? Though? Buy a coach?
Here, no. Here's a good one for you. Here's a suggestion: an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Because honestly, this offense is offensive.
Yes, offensive in every category. Running the ball, I know everybody's talking about it.
It's more offensive than you at work after 8 hours at UPS, okay?
Harry, I gotta tell you, though, again, I counted Tom Brady 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and proceeded to watch him throw it right to a defender, and I'm like, wow.
I get it.
Is he still hungover from Tom? Is he still hungover from Robert Kraft's wedding a week ago? What's going on there?
Because it's really easy to figure this offense out. They're going to chuck the ball downfield. They're rushing 3, and they're dropping 8 back. It's not Jerry Rice at every position on this offense, for God's sakes.
Yeah, right. But no, come on. Yeah, no, I agree with you. We're not Jerry Rice at every position, but you look across this. You got Russell Gage, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You got a Scotty Miller. You got a Brashard Perry, man. Just for you guys.
That wind is really kicking up. We got to get you something there to guard.
No, you don't need to get him anything. I'm enjoying the win. And listen, I've got to go, gentlemen. I got to tell you what I'm going to do. I got to get over here. I got to watch this because I'm coming up in the second quarter. I got to make these second half bets. I'll tell you what, if I have anything and you guys are still on, I'll come on and see if I can give some people a couple of bets. Let's try to make up for this miserable day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love you guys for having me on. Ray, keep locking it down like you're doing it. You're over at Krabby's on the Pass. Peter, love your passion because no one ever says you don't bring that passion because, son, you bring it every single show. And me, I'm just going to keep bringing all the picks that I possibly can. I'm Harry the Greek. Thank you for having me on. Gentlemen, be blessed. Have a great day and keep your bets low.
There you go, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire at 1252 Chicago Sports. Thanks a lot for your time, man. Appreciate
Cheers.
it. All right, there you go. Let's come back here to the two-shot here. Tampa Bay Ray, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. As I moved, I'm in the middle of a move now. Again, we'll get some pictures back up at the wall, but I did that on purpose, not because my lighting is bad, but because this team is a shadow of what they used to be. And it goes back to the defense for me. You need a defensive stop on third down. You're not getting it. You need to stop the running game. You're not getting it. You're getting gouged by D'Onta Foreman, not Chuck Foreman of the Minnesota Vikings in the 70s and 80s. D'Onta Foreman for 60 yards. Make some sense of this defense, and they're just fall off the cliff for me.
Again, Pete, it again harkens me back to 2001 when we had a team that basically had a defense that was, 4 Hall of Famers. All right, 3 only so far, but we know Rondé's going to get in there sometime soon. And now you got a 2022 team that has a defense that's really not even getting a chance to show what they can do because, the offense is, should be sued for lack of support.
Yeah, good stuff there. All right, Tampa Bay Ray, let's go back out to these comments. I guess we lost your sound there. Misador, don't let anyone tell you that everyone runs on first down. Only teams average over 3 yards a carry on first down. Should consider being close to running at an 80% clip. Misador says Leverett was in the rotation today at left guard, and they both sucked. I thought he was better than Luke. Hawks win. Beat Kraken. Michael says bad coaching. Brady's personal issue. Team thinks they are an A, I guess. Still 10 games left. Absolutely, Christopher Cole. True on that. Troy Polamalu, don't mess with Ray. He's from the East Tampa Sly Avenue. Michael says prayers for Jensen to come back. Misador, I wouldn't plan on Jensen being back anytime soon. And when he is back, how long until he is in game shape? Good point. Peter Homer Malacca, you're going to get this or that. Sorry for the finger. That's okay. No worries. JC Treader is recently retired. I would seriously consider calling and begging. I doubt it because there's a reason why. And I think this also, and maybe this is a little bit unfair on my part, and I'm looking too much into it, but we've always learned that when a player wants to retire and then unretires, that maybe they're not necessarily all in or doesn't have their head into it. Is it fair to say that Tom Brady maybe isn't all there with everything that's gone on and off the field?
I'll be honest with you. We go back to the presser after the game where he says I've got some real shit going on. What didn't sound like something that was already in his rear view or was going to be in his rear view anytime soon. But then I make the reference that, Peter, you talked about moving this week. I got enough going on in my personal life. We all got shit going on. So if that's all it took to take you off the pedestal of the greatest of all time, which it really hasn't, but truth of the matter is, if that's only the guys in the room know, and if that is still an issue, then again, taking off to go to the wedding last Friday and then flying in like you're VIP in it, that's really not a great look because that tells the other 52 guys in the room that you're already thinking about your Fox career when you leave the Bucs. I didn't like it. That's why I made a big deal about it last week, and then bury the lead. They lose to the Panthers today, and it's still kind of an issue.
Yep, definitely issues that are not getting worked out at this point. Going back to the numbers, P.J. Walker, 16 for 22, 177, 2 touchdowns, somewhat of a mobile quarterback. D'Onta Foreman, who we talked about with the 60-yard run, 14 for 114. Chuba Hubbard had a big game, and DJ Moore, 7 for 69, of course, with the early touchdown in before halftime there in the first half. Let's go out to Roger Goodnight. Harry, Brad says routes were easily covered and they knew by formation it was a pass play. That's a problem. David, we need to get better on our pass rushing. 2 second weeks in a row, a backup quarterback picked us apart. And I get it. You're missing a Carlton Davis. I get it. Antoine Winfield goes out with a concussion. But somebody in that back end, somebody on that defense has to make some plays to call some turnovers. And like he said, the pass rush hasn't been there the last 2 weeks, Tampa Bay, right?
No, it's true. But again, I'm not by nature a defensive defender. Of course, though, I've always made going back to John McCain, 76, Buccaneers in their 46 years of existence, they've always, 44 years of them, they've been a defensive-minded team. Or even when we had Richard Williamson as a coach who was supposedly offensive-minded, it was still going to go through the defense. But the point that I keep getting by is that if your defense is seeing you guys at halftime with the greatest of all time and you still can't score 3 points, let alone a touchdown, at some point the defense starts to rest on their laurels, and the other team, it's good coaching. It's coaching 101. We'll run the ball. Devontae Foreman's going to run the ball down their throat, pick up 6, pick up 9, and guess what? When they're least expecting it, we'll go for 40 yards, and that's when you start breaking the back. And that's what we've seen from this 2022 Buccaneers team so far. The offense has not given a defense a reason to not have their backs broken because they let momentum go to their sideline. And by the fourth quarter, we saw it again today there in Carolina, Mo's over on the Carolina Panthers side partying, and the Bucs are over there going, why does Mo not like us? Well, Mo doesn't like you because you don't work from the start to bring Mo to your sideline.
And you're not playing a complete game. And again, I played that press conference on purpose twice with Tom Brady saying, we have our best football in front of us. We're not doing this. It hasn't improved. It hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten worse. Honestly, let's see here. Chris Cole says, on the bright side, it's a short week. Sador says fatigue is a factor with this defense. Brad says the defense is on the field too long. Agree. Ben says made another backup quarterback look like a star again. To Ray Roger Shue says Giselle is the boss in that house. Tom will retire after this garbage season. No passion for anyone. Sador says J.C. Treader can't be worse than I keep on saying his name wrong.
Gadecki.
No, it's Gadecki. Gadecki at this point, I'm willing to see who's available at Umatilla High. And Sador says, what are your thoughts on the offense's execution? I'm all for it. Let's go out to I Love St. Pete. Reagan says, bro, he's not in a good place mentally. He's going through a separation. Nobody can fix that. Not Belichick. Nobody. Reagan says, either way, win or lose, Peter Blake's show is phenomenal. He's a talent. I appreciate that. I'll give you the Ric Flair on that. We will get these comments or these sound effects back into order. Milo says, this team is missing the leadership of JPP and Sue on D. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, even today, we saw the Bucs having success in the first quarter into the second quarter. I said, wow, the receivers are missing it by that much. Brady was on. They looked good. And then all of a sudden, the third quarter, it's like an episode, like you said, on the side of a milk carton. The Buccaneers offense disappears. The reason why I still give a pause for pause is because the Bucs play in the NFC South. And we'll be honest, from the Saints to the Panthers to the Falcons, this is still a division that's pretty much is in flux and building. Problem is that someone just commented, they said, well, the good news is it's a short week. The bad news is it's the Baltimore Ravens coming in here on Thursday night. Even though it's in our house, it's not a question of home field advantage. It's not a question of 53 guys showing up. It's a question of can they be led to a victory over the John Harbaugh Baltimore Ravens. That's why it's so scary.
And the thing is, I don't know if the Ravens won today. It looks like they were winning the last time we checked against the Cleveland Browns. We'll update the scores, but they've blown a lot of fourth quarter leads. But I have no faith. I have no confidence in this team. And I don't know how you do besides the fact of living off the past with Tom Brady in this offense because, like I said, coming in, they are a shadow of themselves. And it goes back to what Todd Bowles said last week. A lot of people are living off that Super Bowl, and they got to stop it because you can't just show up in the NFL. You have to play 60 total minutes of football. And if you don't, you can lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers and a Carolina Panther team that was 1-5 coming into the game with a third-string quarterback, their franchise running back traded out the door with an interim coach. You can lose at the National Football League. All right.
Pete, I go back to the preseason when I went to the Dolphins game, and I'm sitting right there behind the Bucs bench, and I go back and I'll share the post. I made the post that night. I said it's so great to see Bruce Arians and Jason Light sitting on the sideline surveying the talent on the field. I don't know. I can still tell you this day, I don't know where Todd Bowles was, but I still think Todd Bowles is a great coach. I don't know as far as coaching both sides of the ball and leading all 53, but now, and then we see with Bruce Arians gets to the sidelines in New Orleans. They didn't give us a box to sit in. Whatever. I get that. Maybe it's true. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. But now we're starting to see maybe Bruce Arians realized, I always say it's the guys in the room. They know. Maybe Bruce Arians already realized at that point that he started to see a chasm in this team between the coaches and the players, that they didn't have that. Because, again, guys and girls, remember at the end of the day, both teams on both sides, they've got 53 paid professionals that are the best in this sport. They all come from high schools and colleges. They're the best of the best. So for the Bucs, we could say the Bucs should go in there and handily beat a Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bucs should go in there and handily beat a Carolina Panthers. But they've got 53 paid professionals on their side that are all Americans, that are first round, second rounders they traded for. So at the end of the day, coaching does mean a lot. By coaching, I don't mean just telling guys where to stand. Yeah. I mean, getting guys motivated to knock someone's head off, getting guys motivated to cross the ball across that goal line. And that may be the disconnect with this 2022 Buccaneers team. It's still early, but at 3-4, it's starting to get a little late.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little late, and I get it. It's early, but it's really not early. And then, how long do you say, well, it's the injury situation? It doesn't seem like Julio Jones is ever going to be healthy or make any contribution to this team. So at this point, do you move on? What about Akeem Hicks? Is he ever going to play on this team? And if their plans were that Akeem Hicks was supposed to solidify this run defense and he's not doing it, then you got some big-time problems at this point. And you got big-time problems any way it goes when you give up 150 yards over of rushing to a Carolina Panther team that just traded Christian McCaffrey.
Hey, Pete, the good news is Ndamukong Suh is still out there. I mean, if that's really the case, if Akeem Hicks on his defensive line is really the make or break point for this Buccaneers team, they can still go out there. And, of course, Jason Light's not going to break the bank, but the Bucs can still strategically figure out a way to get Ndamukong Suh on this team. Does Ndamukong want to leave those beautiful twins of his and the life he's now having and all the money he's learned how to accumulate through Warren Buffett? I don't know. But I don't think it's a one-player fix. Now, I'm not saying we're like the Steelers who lose J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt and all of a sudden they suck. Except for they beat us last week. But I don't think this Buccaneers team, I don't see it a personnel problem. I just see it the guys the way they're playing, because it really, let's be honest, other than Winfield, who you pointed out goes off with a concussion, the guys, rest of the 52 are kind of walking around like they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why it always comes back to coaching for me.
It does. All right. Let's see here. Pat Riley says Bucs are still in first place. Making the playoffs is all that matters, but you're going to be one and done the way this team is playing right now. No victory Monday for the Bucs. Bears beat the Pats tomorrow night. We shall see. Misador, all this money tied up in weapons, but nobody to protect the general. Let's keep on reading these comments. Tim from I Love St. Pete, the team's a little busy, a little cocky. And I don't know about reading that one. And then David says, I completely agree with you, Ray. Could see in the middle of third, the defense just gave up after the third and out by our offense. I mean, and we talked about it. We've seen this happen before with a defensive-minded coach, not only in the Tony Dungy, which, created a problem because your defense was on the field all the time, and your offensive ineffectiveness, if you will, Leo word. But even Tony Dungy's offense, Clyde Christensen's offense was a lot better than what we're watching right now, especially when you get into the red zone. They just have no idea, no identity, there's no solution at this point. There's no hope for me thinking that this team can go in there and beat Baltimore on Thursday night. I get it's a short week, but Baltimore is playing better football right now than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And give it a good coaching. To me, good coaching would be if you heard of the problems. Good coaching would be, which we kind of did this week when Devin White went on board, and you kind of almost started to see it. So I would look moving forward. Is Devin White, does he say anything else? Of course, Devin White's coming up next year. He's in the 5th year of his contract, and the Buccaneers have a idea to exercise, or I'm sorry, the 4th year. Either they exercise the 5th year of his contract or give him that new contract. But same with Tony Dungy in the 2001 Buccaneers going into 2002. You never would have heard anybody say a word about the coach because they respect the coach. So that's the Bucs fans again. take a little bit of take a little bit of confidence in the fact that this isn't a team being run by Matt Rule. This isn't a team being coached by Urban Meyer. This is still a team that's this close. The question is, going into the game this week, especially Thursday night against the Baltimore Ravens, is this still your team that can clinch the NFC South and then get healthy and get Ryan Jensen back and get healthy and ready for the playoffs in just over 11 or 10 weeks? Or is this going to be a team that punks out and lets the Falcons climb into it?
Yeah, and like I said, my boss, Paul Stewart from buckpower.com, which we do a podcast called the No Quarter Given podcast with Jason Powers on Sports Podcast. He said, this is what the 2022 Buccaneers are right now. And it's sad to say, but just dreadful offense, untimely defense, terrible penalties, shooting themselves in the foot. And with this much talent, some changes have to be made, and I think they're going to be made here in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I would not be surprised if some demotions take place, if some players start to lose their starting jobs. Something has to change. You have to change.
Right. Pete, let me ask you. So I hear you saying that. I apologize. So, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's about money, and it's about making money. It's about being the best. And part of you wants to say, well, the Glazers and Darcy Glazer-Kasowitz and Brian Glazer, and they're going to be like, oh, we want to maintain this look of, we're solid. But at the end of the day, yeah, do you suddenly tell Bruce Arians, look, get off the throne and back in the locker room, which basically goes, I mean, let's be honest, at this stage, basically ends Todd Bowles' career as a head coach in the NFL someday. I still think he's still one of the best defensive coordinators, but that's why I start to have a problem.
I'm not sure about that because your defense is not showing up. I tell you what, save that thought. Let's go out to Ryan Spencer. Ryan, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy after the Bucs' disappointing loss to the Carolina Panthers 21-3. Go.
What's up, Pete, man? I didn't realize I was catching you in the show, man. Just give me a call back when you're done.
Okay, Ryan Spencer, there you go. Good stuff there. Yes, this is my personal phone line. So if
That's
you
how we do. That's how we do.
You're on. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Brad here. Good. Godwin was playing well. Again, one of the lone bright spots. He's not necessarily fully healthy, but he's
Gage too. Gage showed up today, and Kyle Rudolph gets his first reception in like 25 years. So, I mean, there were still bright spots. Even down 14-0, and even after they go for 3 to make it 14-3. And I'll be honest with you, when they went for 14-3. That's when I started to come out here and do the setup, because I was going to stay down here anyway. Gators on the pass down here on the Treasure Island side of the Johns Pass Bridge. Come down here and see Daniel Sullivan. Tell him that you saw it on the post-game show here in the Sports Web with Peter Blake. Maybe they'll comp me at dinner. Maybe not. But 14, it's when we go for that field goal, that's when I was like, okay, again, goes back to last week. We're trading field goals for touchdowns. At what point, what are we doing this? But we talked about this disconnect, and the disconnect is the defense gets burned there by the big runs in the second half, but it's already the second half, and they're already tired of watching their offense go out there and sputter. And oh, by the way, it's the offense that's led by the guy that was at a billionaire's wedding last week and then shuffled in late Saturday and early Sunday. So it's a perfect storm, but who's the head guy in charge over there at One Buck Place? Who is the person that's making these calls? I don't think the players know. I know the fans know.
Yeah, and again, who knows at this juncture? Because again, it goes back to what you said last week and the week before. There is no identity with this team. That's the most disappointing aspect of the 2022 version of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So good stuff there, Brad. Appreciate it, later, guys. Good show. Got to find a way to get you on with me. Absolutely. Always open me the door to come on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, and also your show, which I believe I'm trying to think of what it's called, but you do a hell of a job.
Cup of what? Cup of what?
Well, it's not cup of anything. You're the cup of Ray. I think he's the crew or something along those lines.
Oh, on me, Sador show. I'm sorry. No, it's the crew roundtable.
Roundtable. That's correct. All right, good stuff. I tell you what, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Give me your final thoughts, Tampa Bay Ray, on once again a disappointing loss where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose to the Carolina Panthers.
I'm going to lean one more week on the fact that I still think we have a team that's so phenomenally talented at a lot of positions. I'm going to lean on the fact that the Buccaneers were this close on the Mike Evans touchdown in the first drive. Would have been 60-something yards or 50-plus yards that would have put us up 7-0. They still wouldn't have scored the rest of the first quarter. In the second quarter, we would have been up by 20 at halftime. I really feel that. I'm going to lean on the fact that this team is still a veteran-led team that still has quite a few guys that were on the 55 championship back in 2020. But I'm going to preface it by saying the Baltimore Ravens come in here in less than 5 days. This team better get their shit together, or we're going to be doing this again on Thursday night. Thanks, Peter, for having me, brother.
Absolutely. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Cup of Ray on Sunday mornings. Also see him on the over-under on 1252 Chicago Sports. And he is always one of the co-hosts here, one of the founding fathers of the Sports Web, live here on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Appreciate the time, my friend. All right?
Love you, brother. Take care.
Love you too. Good stuff there. So we come back. Yes, we have moved. We're in Holiday now. It's a new venue, but kind of the same story, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, where we see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose in embarrassing fashion. So I want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Chris Cole. Play calling is so predictable. If I could tell what's coming, then defensive coaches definitely know what's coming. That's the point. You know, P.J. Walker starts out the game with 11 consecutive passes. How has that happened? P.J. Walker, a third-string quarterback. I'm not saying he's not a talented player, but come on. I don't know what else to say. Let's go scores around the league here. If you want to call and talk about this disappointing loss, we can go ahead and talk about it as the Bucs fall to 3-4. Because I know there's a lot of frustrated Bucs fans out there. Is the season over with? No. But you had both of these games circled as wins, did you not, Bucs fans? And it just shows you any given Sunday. Or no friggin' logic, as Harry the Greek would say. All right, Thursday Night Football, of course, the Cardinals defeated the Saints 42-34. The Saints, 2-5 now? So a lot of people banking on the fact you win the NFC South. That was not the goal. That's not unfinished business, is to win the NFC South. You want the number one seed. You want to be a Super Bowl contender. And right now, the Bucs are not a Super Bowl contender, let alone a playoff contender. The only reason why they would make the playoffs is because they play in this god-awful division. All right, Ravens win 23-20. They will be the next opponent up on Thursday Night Football. Most likely, Antoine Winfield will not play in that game. Just a hunch because of going through concussion protocol. I don't see it happening. So once again, a major loss in that defensive backfield. You already have Carlton Davis, who was out with a hip injury today. Bengals beat the Falcons 35-17 pretty handily. Cowboys get back Dak Prescott 24-6. They continue to roll. Giants beat the Jaguars to go to 6-1. Break out the New York Giants 23-17. Packers lose to the Washington Commanders 23-21. That is another team right now that is reeling with Aaron Rodgers, possibly seeing his best days, not having enough weapons. The Titans win 19-10. Right now at halftime, Raiders and Texans tied at 10. Broncos over the Jets in the second quarter. Of course, the Broncos don't have Russell Wilson in that game, so the Broncos winning 9-7 makes sense, right? 49ers losing to the Kansas City Chiefs 14-13 late in the second quarter there. You have the Seahawks beating the Chargers, as we talked about, up 14-0 now, 17-7 over the LA Chargers in the second quarter. And later on tonight, you'll have the Steelers versus the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football, and the Bears and Patriots for a Monday night showing. Who is making these schedules? Because right now, these games are just awful. Sorry. I know I do a show on Chicago platform, but could you come up with a better game than the Patriots and the Bears? or the Steelers and the Miami on Sunday night, and now you got the Bucs versus the Ravens, which at the beginning of the season kind of looked attractive, and it doesn't look attractive enough anymore. Of course, watch the Bucs put up some points finally. Who knows? Who knows at this point? I've got no idea what happened today. None. It starts out with that first drive. You've got to take advantage of those opportunities. You've got a wide open touchdown, and you can't score in the first quarter this year. That's a problem. Injuries or no injuries, the offense is offensive. It's not good. Not good at all. Roger Chu says FGB. I guess that's F Green Bay. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm done for the night. Enjoy the football. Even though you didn't enjoy the result today, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Carolina Panthers 21-3. They're now 3-4. They will face the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. Join us here. We'll be live at Beef O'Brady's on Bush Boulevard. Yours truly, Jason Powers. Most likely Harry the Greek, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. You never know. Just keep on tuning in. Of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on I Love St. Pete, The Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And, of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. And do 3 things for me as we are in our new place. But once again, the same result as the Bucs lose. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Have a great night.